8 rounds of boxing on tap for the vacant Massachusetts Heavyweight Championship. Jesse "Bad News" Barboza from Hyannis, Massachusetts, by way of his original hometown of Roxbury, Mass., where his dad's family hails, taking on Niall Kennedy, unbeaten at 7-0. From Wexford, Ireland, but most of his recent fights have happened here in Massachusetts, which lends him eligible to fight for this vacant state championship. Jesse Barboza in the black trunks, Niall Kennedy in the white trunks with the green trim. Interesting, on St. Patrick's Day, one would think that the Irishman, Niall Kennedy, would be the overwhelming crowd favorite. However, the crowd a bit split in the introductions, as many people have come from Hyannis to see Jesse Barboza, and, as I mentioned, his original hometown of Roxbury still has a lot of family there, and a lot of them are seeing him box professionally for the first time tonight here at the House of Blues. Niall Kennedy 7-0 with 4 knockouts. We last saw him with a win over Henry Namu of Las Vegas, Nevada, a decision win. Jesse Barboza has lost 2 in a row, but you look further into that, he's fought excellent opposition. Adam Kornacki, an undefeated prospect from Poland, and Alexis Santos, who now has a record of 18-1. Jesse Barboza has been in there with the better fighters. So we'll see if that experience can pay dividends tonight against Niall Kennedy, the unbeaten Irishman. It was interesting as they were announcing both fighters. Jesse Barboza was introduced first. Niall Kennedy was introduced second. And as Kennedy was being introduced, Barboza just kept inching closer and closer to the center of the ring and beyond the center of the ring, and was very close to the corner of Niall Kennedy. Certainly more towards the opposing fighter's corner than most fighters are when he's being announced. Had a glaring look on his eyes as well. Barboza seems to be picking his spots a lot more here in round 1 than he has done in some recent fights. Before the 2 losses that I mentioned, he was coming off 2 consecutive first-round knockouts over Jesse Oltmans and Francisco Morales. And we're seeing perhaps a return to the more somewhat counter-punching boxing style of Jesse Barboza that got him most of his early wins. But it has been Kennedy the aggressor here in round 1, and he's landed the more effective punches. There was a right hand to the body that we saw moments ago, as we have the closing seconds of round 1 between Niall Kennedy of Wexford, Ireland, and Jesse Barboza of Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Round 2 underway in this vacant Massachusetts State Heavyweight Championship bout between Niall Kennedy and Jesse Barboza. I gave round 1 to Niall Kennedy. And round 2, he throws Barboza to the canvas. Barboza, a former high school football standout for the Barnstable Red Raiders. That was somewhat of a tackle that he was on the receiving end of. Nice left hand by Niall Kennedy. And Barboza hangs on, and I think Niall Kennedy might be landing some more effective shots here in round 2 than was the case in round 1. I think Barboza's a tad wobbly. Remaining upright. Kennedy really trying to open up. Is Barboza looking for that opening? As Kennedy becomes more aggressive here in round 2. Niall Kennedy increasingly becoming more confident here in round 2 as we have the closing seconds of the second round. And if there was any question about round 1, Niall Kennedy certainly wins round 2 here at the House of Blues. Round 3 of the scheduled 8-rounder begins between Niall Kennedy and Jesse Barboza. Vacant Massachusetts heavyweight title at stake. Nice jab to the body by Jesse Barboza. Jesse Barboza with esteemed members of the Gonzalez family in his corner. John Curran on cuts. Niall Kennedy in his corner. His trainer Packy Collins, and tonight his cut man is Mark Vaz. Closing seconds of round 3 between Niall Kennedy and Jesse Barboza. Round 4 of the scheduled 8-rounder. Both men at the center of the ring. Somewhat of a chess match there as they were both waiting for each other to make a move. Nice left hand by Jesse Barboza. Nice right hand by Jesse Barboza as he wails to the body of Kennedy as Kennedy ties him up. So while I have Niall Kennedy winning the first 3 rounds, Jesse Barboza fighting with some urgency here in round 4 of the scheduled 8. Looks like Jesse Barboza at times has found a target for that left hand. That left hand again by Barboza lands. Not as much starch on it that time as there was earlier, but a scoring blow nevertheless. Round 4 coming to an end. And after winning the first 3 for Niall Kennedy, I give round 4 to Jesse Barboza on my scorecard. Well, we're now officially past the midway mark of the scheduled 8-round fight for the vacant Massachusetts heavyweight title. I bumped into Niall Kennedy last night at an amateur show in Boston, and his question for me about his opponent was, Jesse Barboza a football player? And I told him, yeah, he was a standout football player at Barnstable High School who later played at the semi-professional level in the Eastern Football League. Guess he gauged some of that from their stare down yesterday as both fighters touched foreheads. Left hand upstairs by Barboza, right hand to the body. Nothing of really any consequence affecting the output level of Niall Kennedy, though. Nice lead left jab by Barboza. That was a nice right hand by Niall Kennedy, which draws some ooze from the crowd. Final seconds of round 5. And a close round to score. Round 6 between Niall Kennedy and Jesse Barboza here at the House of Blues. It's interesting, after the first 3 rounds that I felt Niall Kennedy clearly scored, Jesse Barboza has seemed more comfortable the last 2 rounds, but has it been enough to steal rounds? Seeing some redness around the left eye of Jesse Barboza here in round 6. I think a minute cut might be opening. But from my vantage point, doesn't seem to be anything to be concerned about at this point. He does have one of the best cut men in the business in his corner. Round 6 concludes. We're back at the House of Blues in Boston. Jesse Barboza and Niall Kennedy here on this Murphy's boxing card, vying for the vacant Massachusetts State Heavyweight title. My name is Peter Zimborg calling the action. Niall Kennedy with some quick hands. Closing seconds of the round. Bit of a chess match between Niall Kennedy and Jesse Barboza. Eighth and final round of this Massachusetts State Heavyweight Championship bout between Niall Kennedy and Jesse Barboza. Kennedy got off to a good start. Barboza has slowed down the pace a bit and perhaps crept himself back into the fight this eighth round. Both guys have to know that there's a potential this one could be close. And we'll see if that brings out the best in them. Some big punches thrown courtesy of Barboza, but ducked courtesy of Kennedy. Nice right hand by Niall Kennedy. Good left hand snuck in by Barboza. Nice right hand by Niall Kennedy, and Jesse Barboza gets knocked through the ropes. It looked like the first right hand had him so the ropes were just holding him up. And the second right hand was one he was just on the ropes, and they're going to stop this fight in the eighth and final round. So a knockout win for Niall Kennedy in the eighth round. It was interesting, a commission member from the corner of Barboza came running into the ring. I wonder if he ran into the ring at the suggestion of his corner. Nevertheless, a stoppage win for Niall Kennedy, as he is now the Massachusetts State Heavyweight Champion, despite the fact he hails from Ireland. Irish eyes will be smiling for that one, as there's plenty of Irish descendants in the Boston area. We'll get the official time of stoppage from our ring announcer, John Vina, momentarily. Two minutes and 12 seconds of the eighth and final round. Niall Kennedy with the biggest win of his career as he stops Jesse Barboza to become the new Massachusetts State Heavyweight Champion.